Buzzing with Miss B.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 4 of the instructional coaching series. Thank you so much for staying up to date on this video series. I really hope that it is helping you in your role as a coach, whether you're a new coach or you've been doing this forever and you just want to try out something different. I have already put out 3 episodes for you. The first one was about roles and responsibilities. The second one was about getting yourself organized with some basic tools and binders. The third one was about organizing your coaching space. And so this is the 4th episode. We're going to talk about something that can be a little bit intimidating for coaches and for teachers, and that is visiting classrooms. The first thing that I have to say before we even talk about visiting classrooms is you must talk to your principal about this, because classroom visits are perceived in very different ways on different campuses. And you need to know, first of all, that is something that the principal is okay with you doing, that the school is okay with you doing, whether it's happened before on the campus, and how it has been done. Too many times, classroom visits are a gotcha. They are, aha, I walked in and I saw you were supposed to be doing test prep today, and instead you were writing poetry. This actually happened to a friend of mine, by the way. He was doing a beautiful poetry lesson. His principal walked in, and the next day he found every teacher had a note in their boxes that said that they should really refrain from teaching poetry because it was not being tested on the next assessment coming up. Just horrible little side note there. That is not what this is for. Visiting classrooms is to help you keep your finger on how curriculum is going, how the instructional strategies that you are sharing are going, and to help you figure out where you need to provide support. If you are visiting classrooms and you are seeing a pattern that independent reading time is not being beneficial to students, then that's a great place to focus your energy. If you're visiting classrooms and you see that a teacher is a pro at doing amazing making inferences lessons, then you want that teacher to share her thinking with her grade level and other colleagues. If you're visiting classrooms and you see that there is tremendous alignment in 5th grade with their math practices, then you want to see what is going on there that is helping those teachers achieve that, and how are kids internalizing this work. And so the big thing with visiting classrooms is that you want to be there for a purpose, and that purpose is not to catch teachers doing something wrong. I would hope that this is a conversation we don't even have to have, but it happens so often, right? We see administrators and coaches who visit classrooms on purpose to catch teachers, and that's not the point. The point is to support kids through supporting teachers, which is the point of all of our work. Support kids through supporting teachers. Okay, anyway, that was my soapbox. So we're visiting classrooms, and as you walk into a classroom, you want to remember why you're there. You are not there to interrupt the lesson. If you're walking into a classroom and you're saying, hey everybody, Miss So-and-so's here, you're interrupting the lesson inherently. And that's not your job. Your job is to walk in and see how things are going. If a teacher looks up at you expectantly, which sometimes they do, because sometimes you might have to walk in for a different reason. If a teacher looks at you, then you can say, I'm just visiting, or don't worry about me, I'm just gonna sit in the back, or just here to see how things are going, because you don't want to interrupt. Already it's nerve-wracking enough. And so before you visit the first classrooms, you're going to want to send an email to teachers or tell them verbally that that's what you're going to be doing, especially if they are not familiar with this practice. Your email could sound something like, hi, Miss So-and-so, or hey, grade level, or hey, faculty. I just wanted to let you know I'm going to start visiting some classrooms over the next couple of weeks, and this is why. Spell out the reasons why, and gotcha is not one of them. Teachers are still going to think you're there to catch them doing something wrong. I don't know why that is, but that's just the culture that has been created around teaching and learning. And so you're going to want to make sure that you reinforce that you're not there to catch them doing something wrong, right? So whenever you first visit that classroom, come in with a happy face. I've known some people who are wonderful, wonderful coaches, but they visit classrooms with a very stoic look on their face. And if you read the research, sometimes it does say to do that, because it says that if you praise things, then teachers are going to expect praise when they're doing something right. And if you don't praise something, they're going to think it's something wrong that they are doing. But I have found that if you walk in stoically, it's very intimidating to teachers. And so come in with a happy face, or at least your normal face, whatever that normally is. I don't know how happy your face normally is. You don't want to walk in with a big phony smile. Walk in with a normal happy face. And you can interact with kids and just say, hey, what are you guys doing? Can you tell me what you're working on? What were you doing earlier? What are you going to do next? What's your favorite part of the day? You can talk to kids about things like that, but you don't want to go up and interrupt the teacher. You definitely do not want to go up and interrupt the teacher while she or he is teaching unless they ask for help. If a teacher asks for help, why not offer help? I mean, they're there, they're asking. And I have had that happen. You walk into a classroom, you're watching a lesson on grammar, and during the lesson, the teacher suddenly says, I'm not sure. What do you think, Miss Beltran? How should we approach this? Offer your opinion. Ask them what they would like you to do. Would they like to coach? I mean, it's on the spur of the moment. But if you can help a teacher and they're reaching out, just do it. So that's my advice for first walking into classrooms. As you're there, you want to look for a few things to focus on. You don't want to focus on everything. It's very overwhelming. You can't focus on everything. And so you just want to think about a couple of things. You might look at specifically how the teacher is communicating with students, how students are responding verbally or in writing, or if students are being asked to read or to talk to each other. What instructional strategies are they using, or are they appropriate? Are they performing at the appropriate level to be able to use those strategies? The kids, not the teacher. Does the lesson flow? How much time is being spent on each component? There are lots of different things that you can focus on in the lesson, and so I recommend that you choose one or two things to look at instead of being overwhelmed by trying to document everything or trying to keep everything in your mind. That's the last step, is you have to decide with your principal, are you going to take written notes? Are you going to provide teachers feedback in writing? Are you going to communicate with teachers every time you visit a classroom, or is it just for your own knowledge? And so that depends on your purpose for being there. I did provide teachers feedback in writing or verbally. Sometimes I would meet with teachers about what I saw. Sometimes I wouldn't. Sometimes teachers would ask to meet with me. Sometimes they wouldn't. It varies. It depended on the teacher and the situation. So I recommend having that conversation with your principal beforehand and really deciding how you're going to approach things. If you want to leave little notes, the first time I recommend that you leave a super happy note, authentically happy. I actually have created these little notes that I put in my instructional coaching mega pack. There's like 15 different themes that you can use. This one says, I loved visiting your class, and it gives you space to write a little feedback to the teacher so that you can kind of tell them about some of the great things that you saw in their class. And I do recommend starting that way. You can actually, I even at the very beginning, leave a happy note. I left it in their teacher boxes, so I don't ever walk up to them during class and hand them the note. That's terrible. First of all, you want to read over it after you've written it yourself to make sure that you're expressing yourself clearly and positively. And second of all, you don't want to interrupt a lesson or make a teacher think she's performing for you and you're just going to hand her a performance. That's awful. I've actually seen that done. Don't do it. So I would leave them in their teacher boxes, and I just I taped like a little pencil to it, like a little happy pencil or like a piece of candy or a seasonal eraser or something, because I wanted people to have a positive experience. And then over time you can offer suggestions or feedback if you think that that's what needs to happen, and it's warranted, but you don't want to start out immediately making teachers think that you're there to pass judgment, because that's not your job. One of the best pieces of advice I've ever heard about visiting classrooms is don't think about whether it's something that you would do. Think about whether it is appropriate for the kids, for the content, for the lesson. If you're thinking about, well, I would have done it this way, then that's not really coaching. That's asking everybody to do things the way you would do them. If you see a lesson and it is flowing beautifully and it is on target and kids are learning and responding and doing all the things that we want kids to do, then it is appropriate. And so that's what your job is going to be, is to step outside of your own teaching experience and look at the lesson from another lens just to see, is this working for kids? Because that's the goal. That's just some of the advice that I have when it comes to visiting classrooms. If you want some more information on that, of course, I have a blog series that came out this summer about visiting classrooms. You can check that out. It's called the Growing as a Coach series. I also have the little checklist inside of the Instructional Coaches book of plans and lists. And I have some resources to help you visiting classrooms in my Instructional Coaching Mega Pack. Thank you so much for participating in this blog series. This video series. And you can follow me on various social medias on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube at Buzzing with Miss B. You can check out the blog. That's probably where you found me, which is buzzingwithmissb.com, and my TPT store at Chrissy Beltran. Thanks for participating, and happy coaching.
Buzzing with Miss B.